going to need to be really good at logistics. They're going to have to be getting everything in a row, setting it up all really well. And I thought in Star Wars, there is no one better at that than Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh.
I've always thought Qui-Gon has hippie faster energy.
Yeah, that makes sense for me.
Hey guys, welcome to the Rogue 3 podcast, where we discuss everything Star Wars with a positive outlook on the saga we love. I'm Austin.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Austin.
This week we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to draft our own Star Wars wedding in honor of Mike's recent marriage. Congratulations, Mike.
We just got back today. We did a pretty small gathering. You guys were both there, of just 20, 25 people or so, and just did kind of a week to let everyone get to know each other. It was a lot of fun, and I'm still exhausted from it, having gotten back home today.
Yeah, I bet you are. It was beautiful, and I am so excited to walk through our own Star Wars wedding. So, Mike, before we have you explain how this is going to work, why don't we talk a little bit about what we've done this week in Star Wars?
Yeah, obviously I was pretty busy this week, so I didn't do very much with Star Wars this week, but I did go in and start Alphabet Squadron Shadowfall, the second one. Like I did with Aftermath, I had started the series, but just never finished it. And so I went back, and now I've read the first one a long time ago, like 5 years ago, it feels like. And now I'm reading the second one, and I'm just like 70 pages in. I've barely cracked into it because I wasn't reading very much this week. What about you guys?
For me, I haven't really done it yet, but on my way, before we recorded, I stopped by the comic shop, and I picked up the new Legacy of Vader trade. It came out this week.
Nice.
So that's issues 1 through 6 of that series, which I've not read, but I've heard nothing but great things, and I love Kylo, and it seems like we're starting to finally crack open the it's okay to do sequel stuff. So like between this and the announcements that happened this week, it seems like the sequel fan in me is going to get fed, so I'm excited.
Yeah,
I was going to say, most of the way that I've interacted with Star Wars this week is just kind of following the New York Comic Con news. We are very excited about the upcoming books. Star Wars Legacy looks brilliant. Excited to have a Rey Leia story. Very interesting, between 8 and 9, and a Star Wars romance novel. And Ahmed Best is writing a Jar Jar comic. Right? So cool.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we're very excited for that. Other than that, I have not really touched Star Wars too much this week. I brought Thrawn with me to the wedding and didn't read it. So we'll give that a shot another time, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll say on a somber note, I am currently drinking my last can of Star Wars Coke.
Your last can?
It's been a really fun summer of that, but all the grocery stores me seem to be completely out. For the last probably month or so, I've been digging through the piles of them to get the one at the bottom. So I'm drinking the Leia can. It's currently sitting in my Force Awakens tumbler that I've had forever. But nice. it's been a good ride. Nice. But now I'm back to regular Coke Zero.
I still have a Star Wars Coke bottle of yours in my car right now. All right, Mike, do you want to tell us how this game is going to work?
Yeah, so this format has been used by Thank the Maker. That's where I first heard of doing this kind of draft style episode. And so shout out to them. If you haven't listened to them, they're really great. They're very much on the positivity of Star Wars, just like we are. I also happen to love Bayside, the band that Nick, one of the members, is a member of. And so they've done various draft style episodes where they're drafting for a mission that they're doing or other occasions. And so I wanted to do something a little fun, a little festive. And so we're drafting our own Star Wars wedding. And with that, we're only drafting a few pieces of it. We're not drafting like who we're marrying or anything quite on that very, very personal side. But we're going to do 5 different pieces of a wedding. And of course, I'll acknowledge not every wedding's the same. Not everyone in every wedding is going to have these pieces. Thinking about all of the many different types of weddings that can happen between all the different types of couples out there. But we thought these kind of fit well within a little bit of Star Wars, a little bit of us. And so the 5 things that we're going to do is we're going to draft a location, a wedding planner, a photographer, an officiant, and a musician slash DJ slash band. And we thought those are pretty universal things. There's a lot of options out there for different ideas about each of those 5 things. And we're doing it where it's not strictly canon. So we're opening up a little bit of the extra materials. I know I'm looking at things like visions or legend, a little bit of legend stories and things like that, just a little bit. But for the most part, I think we're mostly going to be drafting canon people. And one additional thing is they're going to be on their what I call best behavior. So if you're drafting someone who's pretty evil or has done really terrible genocidal things, they're going to be on their good behavior for this. They're going to not look and be like, oh, your photographer is a rebel, and your officiant is an imperial. Like, they're not going to like go at each other at the wedding. Everyone's going to do their best to be on a good behavior. It's a wedding. They're going to do their best. And so they'll kind of have shades of their personality, their character traits, but maybe not their fightingness. And then their fightingness. I don't know. And then the last thing is we'll do it as a snake style draft. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then 3, 2, 1. So you're not getting locked out always last pick or anything like that. But there's no set order. You don't have to choose like, okay, your location, and we're all choosing our location first. It's whatever you feel the most passionate about, most nervous that maybe someone else might take it, because once things are chosen, they are off the table. And even that crosses over. If you had someone, you know, say character X for your photographer and someone chose character X for their wedding planner, well, that means you got to choose someone else. You got to have a backup in mind or some other idea, or maybe scramble because you didn't think someone was going to choose that person for that topic. And so once they're chosen, they are totally off the board because they were going to do 3 separate weddings, even though we know that you two will hopefully get married not too far into the future. So you guys will have to set up 2 different weddings for yourselves.
We actually discussed that. We were like, is this just one planning for us?
Right. Yep.
We have the same taste.
We have the same taste.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
I was like, if anyone's going to be arguing over who gets what, I imagined it was going to be you guys arguing over who gets Padme Amidala at their wedding. And so we'll see how that breaks down. For the most part, that's the rules we've set up.
Yeah. Should we, before we get started, do we want to go into a office ladies breakdown of what a draft is and how it originated?
Absolutely not.
Love the office ladies. I love them so much.
We do not need to go into the history of drafts at all. But are you guys ready to get started with round 1 of our draft?
Let's do it. Take it off, Mike.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit nerve-wracking to go first because I'm like, there's so many options to go from. And so I am going to start with the person who is helping to plan the entire thing. I didn't have one of these. We planned our wedding all ourselves. And I can say it would have been helpful to have someone a few places. So I'm going to start by choosing my wedding planner because I think they're going to be able to set everything up the right way. And I thought about it as like, okay, a wedding planner is going to need to be really good at logistics. They're going to have to be getting everything in a row, setting it up all really well. And I thought in Star Wars, there is no one better at that than Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh,
wow.
That's not what I was expecting.
Think about it. I like thought about it and I was like, of people that are really well set up and have their ducks in a row and are able to get things the way they want them to be, I picture him, and he's not ruling by fear, right? He rules kind of by competence, and he learns about the culture and stuff like that, the locations, all of that. So I was like, if I'm going to have someone plan a wedding, I think Thrawn would be the perfect person. So my wedding planner is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
I love that. I was not at all expecting you to choose Thrawn. Now I understand why you were talking about people being on their best behavior. I was like, who is he choosing to make us worry about this?
Yes.
All right. Good pick.
All right. Austin Chansey, you're on the clock.
Okay, so I'm going for location. I think there's a lot of fun locations in Star Wars, a lot of bad locations in Star Wars. All places you definitely would not want to get married. But I think the obvious number one pick is Veracino, which is the lake country in Naboo where Anakin and Padme got married. It just screams romance. George Lucas said, I can pick wherever I want the world to be the most romantic place, and I'm picking Lake Como in Italy. And it's just super romantic, lush, beautiful. And I don't think there's really anything you could want more in a wedding venue. So I'm picking that.
Nice.
And
choice.
have the
I knew it was
Austins-
going to be off the board early.
Yeah, that's I wanted that first. I can lose
It's
anything
only-
else. This is the one I'm mad about.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think is the only on-screen wedding we've ever seen in Star Wars, right?
I maybe one
think,
in a TV show, but I don't think there's definitely
Okay.
Not in the
couldn't
movies.
Yeah, I couldn't think of another on-screen wedding. And so
Yeah.
I was like, well, yeah, that's the one we've seen.
Yeah.
Are there any weddings in Clone Wars?
I don't think so.
No?
No. Jedi
Not even,
don't
like,
typically marry,
background
and that's usually who
weddings?
we're seeing.
No.
Not that I can
I
think
don't
of.
know if
Yeah.
there were any like cultural. I don't. Either way, very interesting.
Cool. Well,
Um,
okay, Austin Pierce, you're up
love
next.
the choice. The Austins have talked about getting married at Lake Como, so
Ooh.
ooh, expensive. All right, so I'm going to also start with my location, and
Ooh.
for my location, I wanted to pick somewhere very spiritual, somewhere beautiful, somewhere where the Force felt alive. So I am choosing the Temple of Kyber on Jeddah.
Oh.
So I really wanted it to feel like a sacred wedding, and I wanted it to be a place of some kind of religious meeting. So that's how we got to the Temple of Kyber on Jeddah.
Nice.
Also, it's beautiful. I know a lot of Jeddah is not beautiful, but everything that we've seen, mostly of the exterior, has been beautiful. So
Yeah, that's a good. That wasn't one that even crossed my mind, but it makes so much sense.
yeah, I like it.
I think that's the invitation that you get, and you're like ticked off about having to get to that place.
right.
You're having it where? That's the Star Wars equivalent of having like a really obscure farm wedding.
Yeah.
You have to drive.
Right. Why do I have to drive all the way out there?
To a cave.
I really liked the idea of their, we already had this group of people. We have the Guardians of the Wills. They're the Disciples of the Wills. And they will likely be doing the ceremony, and they will probably, they'll be chanting, which I love that kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
And so in conjunction with that, my second pick for my officiant will be Chirrut Imwe. So
Okay.
I was looking for someone,
Yeah.
again, I was looking for someone spiritually significant. I took me a while to think about this one because I was thinking about a Jedi, but I felt like that almost felt too, it felt
Obvious?
less of the people.
Okay.
No, I was looking for someone who was more of the people. I think
Yeah.
that made more sense. And I felt like Chirrut has that connection, that spiritual connection there, but he's not like a god like the Jedi feel like they
Right.
are.
Yeah.
And so I like that connection between the divine and the people in the form of Chirrut, who feels the Force but doesn't manipulate the Force. You can't use it.
Cool. I like that choice. That's a good combo too, right? Chirrut being there, like that really, really makes sense. I like it.
He also speaks very poetically. He has a nice way of speaking.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I will carry that forward with my officiant as well. And I landed on Mon Mothma. I felt like she's got like the right like spiritual energy you want there, and I would like to give her an opportunity to have like a memory of a good wedding.
Yeah. oh, yeah, right. No, we have seen another wedding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Obviously.
Oh,
yeah.
duh. What is wrong with us?
duh.
Oh my gosh.
Really important one.
Yeah. But yeah, having a good nice wedding,
a good
to
positive
remember.
experience. Yeah.
Now I'm going to
So-
battle back on this, Austin. Is she going
Okay.
to spin out at that wedding too?
You know what? I think that would be really bringing good vibes to the function. I want everybody to have a good time at our wedding, and I think Mom would bring that energy. She would show up really serene for the ceremony, and then throw down on the dance floor. This is what we want.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Mon Mothma was my backup officiant.
Okay, cool.
And so I was like, I thought of her as like really good at speaking and talking and stuff like that. But I am going to go a different direction and go with my photographer first.
Okay.
With my recent wedding, photographer was like the last thing that we chose on, and we weren't sure about photographer. And I realize now like how important that piece is to have memories that are really long lasting that you can share with so many people. And so and we had discussions about how many photographers are there in Star Wars, but how I thought about this was someone that can always get the right shot. And so my photographer is going to be Crosshair.
Okay.
Because of the people that can get the right shot and hit the right angle and make it look good and all of that. So I was like, if you handed a camera to Crosshair, every single photo is going to be picture perfect. And so he could use cameras and probably, I think, make it a little artsy because he is artsy in the way that he shoots sometimes. And so I thought, okay, if I'm going to have someone capture this wedding, Crosshairs is going to be exactly who I want for it. And so he is my
very intriguing.
Plus, you could put him on a cliff a mile away and not have to like have him around your guests.
Yeah, right. Which is even better. We don't want him around our guests.
Yeah, despite being on his best behavior, he can still be a little annoying.
Yeah.
And then let me think, because I could go with the officiant, but knowing that you guys have already selected yours, I don't have to worry that much about it. So I'm going to think about my music. And this is one that I struggled with. But knowing that we're going a little outside of canon, I like a band. I'm very much a band person. Like I said, I like Bayside, the band that Nick Gambarian is in, from Thank the Maker. And so I wanted a band, not a DJ, although I have a backup for that. But the band I'm going to choose is Star Waver from Star Wars Visions, Tatooine Rhapsody.
Awesome. Okay. Explain. So I haven't seen all the Visions yet. So give me a little context.
So it's a multi-piece band of I think 4 people in it, and drums and guitar and vocals and all of that. So I like vocals, but there's a couple extra things. So one, I like a band. So I knew it was going to be a band the whole time. 2, and not to talk anything about what's been going on with Bad Bunny, but they're English lyrics. I speak English, so I will be able to understand them. But still really excited to see Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, despite
just as an aside,
being in Spanish.
yes. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, still very excited for that. And people are going crazy over that. But one of the other things that I thought about is they were in a huge crowd in the Mos Espa racing area. And so they're comfortable with a lot of people or something smaller. So that I thought was really important. You have other bands in Star Wars and they're little cantinas and little locations, but they were able to do a huge show. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then the kicker is my now wife, Devin, really loves 500 Days of Summer. And the main vocalist was voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And so really? I thought that was a little cherry on top for that choice of having Star Waver as my band.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
I
awesome.
Like that.
I think I'll keep the party going and do music. And I went back and forth between 2 people, but I landed on Gaia, who is the singer from the Star Cruiser. So on the Galactic Star Cruiser, which is the experience you go do in Disney World, for it unfortunately closed. At dinner every night, they had a lounge singer named Gaia. She was a purple Twi'lek, and she also sang in English. I think a little Huttese too, but so you get a little flavor there. But she was like the Celine Dion of the New Republic era. She was a big deal, and very talented. You can listen. She has a whole album you can listen to on Spotify or Apple Music. So definitely give that a listen. But that's who I went with.
Nice. That wasn't even an area I thought about. Then knowing I didn't know that there was a musician or lounge singer on there. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
when we go to HalseyCon next year, which we are,
yes,
you are in for a treat when you find out how cool the Star Cruiser was.
Yeah.
I had actually forgotten about HalseyCon until just now.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go on, and just like last time was thematic, this time I'm going to stay a little thematic too. We're going to start with my musician. I'm going to go ahead and just round this one out. So, my musician. I was looking for something a little bit different. In my perfect world, I would love an orchestra for my music. Now, I don't have the funds, nor do I hang out with the types of people who would thrive in that kind of environment. But this is my fake wedding, so I can do whatever I want. I thought I'm going to pick Sabe and the Thede Conservatory. I'm going to cheat a little bit and say the students of the Thede Conservatory. And I would like them to play the halaskat, which is the instrument that Sabe played. And also, for those of you who play Jedi Fallen Order, that's the instrument that Seer composed a song on. I love the sound of it. I love the guitar sound. I think it's beautiful. I think that Sabe would pay a lot of cultural attention. She seems the type to me to really consider, who are her clients, where's this ceremony being held, and this is the kind of production we're going to put on for them. So I went with Sabe. I'm also looking for something a little bit more pure, a little bit more relaxed.
Well, with it being the students, it would be cheap. So,
and it would be cheap as hell. It
He'll do it for publicity
and food.
Publicity and food. Now, also going along with my musician, I've also chosen a wedding planner who I think would be very culturally aware. I want someone who I think could create a picture, someone who has given parties before, who wouldn't make it too stuffy, but would also make it the right amount of sophistication. I went with Padme Amidala as my wedding planner. She's going to get stuff done, and she's going to make sure it gets done right. I think that she could keep everyone organized. She could keep everyone getting along. If people are fighting, she can go take care of it. As you can imagine, we don't want people fighting at our wedding, especially Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think she would understand the significance of a wedding ceremony as well, so she would pay it the respect that it deserves.
And she has a great support staff.
And she has a great support staff.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
C-3PO, we know, has helped plan parties for her before, so
exactly.
She's put in the work.
Well, a lot of times wedding planners get overrun on wedding day, so she could send one of her decoys to go handle that while she gets work done. But it's funny you mentioned C-3PO because C-3PO is my choice for wedding planners. And a couple of reasons for that. Like C-3PO, this is like his element. Like, he loves an event, he loves a party, and he planned Anakin and Padme's wedding, which he did that under no time, so he was able to get that put together. But I feel like whenever we see poor C-3PO, he's always under duress and there's way too much happening. I would like to give him a nice low stakes thing for him to accomplish. I think it would make him really happy. So
yeah,
as I pick C-3PO.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that choice. He's one that I had considered as well, as we see him actually do kind of the catering and planning in the Clone Wars. So I like that choice.
And he got it done. He got it
done.
My sneaky other wedding planner that I considered for just a brief moment was AP5 for kind of the similar reasons of logistics and having something where I'm I think he could do it and it would be nice and simple, nice and easy for him to do.
And did anyone consider making AP5 their musician too? Because it's easy to see I fit perfectly. I love that little part so much.
He sings it all the time.
I do sing it all the time.
Not surprised. Okay. So I have two. My last two basically will be here. For officiant, I wanted someone who I thought was well-spoken, someone who has kind of a worldliness about them and kind of the galaxy and universe. And I'm not a particularly spiritual person, but looking towards the galaxy, I really love people like Carl Sagan that can speak of the greater universe around us. And so I did go that direction and did choose a Jedi, and I chose Qui-Gon Jinn.
Ooh, okay. Why Qui-Gon?
I think that his perspective is very calm. He's very, straightforward. But he's thinking about like the living force. Like he's not dogmatic like the Jedi are. He's I think can converse with the people as you kind of mentioned. Like an issue with the Jedi is they're not always able to relate to the common person. And I think he can. I think he shows that he is clearly able to kind of transcend like what, is your just in your face kind of stuff. And so I thought he would be a really good one. And he just has a really nice perspective in Phantom Menace of things going around and the way he says things to young Anakin and other people. So I thought he would do a really, really good job with that, but brings a tinge of something else there.
I've always thought Qui-Gon has hippie faster energy.
Yeah, that makes sense for me.
That's funny.
Yeah, coming from what was a non-religious wedding, like, yeah, he like has kind of that vibe to him. I agree. And then my location, I kind of struggled a little bit with this because there's so many good, interesting locations. But the one I think I'm going to go with is actually not the one I originally wrote down. I originally wrote down Batu because I thought that would be interesting. And then you can, for your honeymoon, just hop on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
There you go.
But instead, I'm going to go with Cloud City. I think Cloud City is really beautiful. I think it's a really cool, unique location. Like you have kind of these different things around you, and every shot of it is beautiful. So like for the background of the wedding and everything, like it's you have these big banks of mirrors or windows that you can see out these sunsets. Like if you do it right at sunset, it's going to be really beautiful out there.
As long as you choose the special edition.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I upgraded to the special edition.
You upgraded.
Okay. But I thought that would be like a really great location, just really nice spot to do it because it just beautiful.
I love it. That's great.
And then that leaves me with my last, which is photographer. And I really struggled with this one because I don't think there's anybody in Star Wars who's ever like taken a picture. If it has, it did not cross my mind. So I was struggling to think of like existing people of that. So I went with what I consider the next best thing, which was just like an artist. And so I picked Sabine. I think she has like a good like idea of like shot composition and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and she's kind of fun to be around. And so I thought she would be a good choice for that.
That's fun. Well, I've got my last one as well. Photographer. I went between two. There are two people I was going between. They were ID-10, otherwise known as Dio, Iden Versio's droid, and BD-1. I decided to go with a droid for this. So BD-1, he is tech savvy. He has the emotional capacity to generate beautiful images. I feel like there he is. Oh, I love it. He could capture a lot of really sweet moments. He really clambers around. He's able to get all the way through, without making too much of a scene and able to take some good shots. I went, with ID-10, I thought, well, ID-10 can fly. So that's kind of better. He can get better angles. But I feel like ID-10 wouldn't have had the same warmth of photography that BD-1 could get. So I think BD-1 has the spirit that's required of a photographer. And we do, I guess, I don't know if you would consider taking pictures, but he definitely has images and he records and stuff like that. High resolution. Perfect. It's perfect. So BD-1. I did think of a chef as well.
Oh, you did. So let's go into it because one of the things that we talked about was a caterer. And I really struggled thinking of food in Star Wars and who's a good cook. And so we swapped to go to photographer instead. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to hear like what you guys had thought about on the idea of a caterer. Cause I was just having like, we don't ever see anyone cook in Star Wars.
I have so many caterers.
What are some? Cause like
I was having trouble too. And then I was sitting there, I was thinking, and then suddenly they just kind of all came in. They all came in at once. I picked Grease Dritus. I like to do all of mine in pairs. So Grease goes with BD-1. I think.
So who is that for people that
Oh
haven't?
yeah, for those who don't know, Grease Droides is the pilot of the Mantis in the Jedi video game series. And one of his big things is that he's also a cook. He does, he has 4 arms. I feel like he can handle some high capacity. He does get stressed, but these are people who are on their best behavior, their best version of themselves. I think he could really do something special. But Austin, I have some others I thought of, but Austin, who would you have chosen?
So I would have picked. There was a lot that I went through, but I landed on Aunt Z from Star Wars Resistance, who runs the
Yeah.
cantina there. I
Yeah.
think she has a good warmth, and I feel like she would be excited about like taking care of people that aren't like rough pilots. I think she would enjoy like a nice chiller event. But a couple other ones like I thought about. So you've got Gourmanda from the holiday special.
Mike, you got to go Gourmanda for
Yeah.
yours. You got to go Gourmanda.
You got Gourmanda.
Yes.
There's Dexter Jetster, who has the diner and
Oh,
Attack of the
yeah.
Clones. Strono Cookie Tugs, who's
That's
Masconada's Jeff.
That's the only one I thought of when Mike and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
I was like, Cookie. And that was it. That was all I could think of at first.
He's the chef at Maz's palace, and then when that gets torn down, he opens up his shop in Galaxy's Edge. So he's the chef of the restaurant there. And there's a couple of people there. So you've got Bakar, who runs Ronto Roasters. You've got Katsaka, who runs the like snack shack.
Okay.
I can't remember who runs the milk stand. But they're there. So there's definitely some options.
Yeah.
Padme cooks.
Padme
She
does
talked
cook.
about in Clone Wars.
I think she would be at a disservice to have her as your caterer versus
I think
like
you
a
would
wedding
be,
planner,
compared
though.
to others.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I did
Were there
think
any-
about Galaxy's Edge for like a caterer, but I like don't. Since I haven't been, I don't know that much.
We're gonna
I haven't
take you.
read
We're
the
gonna take
Galaxy's
you.
Edge book. So like, I was like, there's probably people there that I'm not thinking about.
What about
Once
the
you've had a
Halcyon?
vegetarian Ronto wrap, you'll be great.
Yeah.
Oh, I
heard
am so
there's-
excited to try one. The breakfast ones are because they have a vegetarian of the breakfast and the regular, right?
Yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, Mike is a vegetarian. I've only had the breakfast one. I am so excited to try others. I've heard the vegetarian one is very good, so I want to try that one too. Is there a Halcyon chef? Do we know like named?
I don't know his name off the top of my head. There is a chef there. He cooks
For the
very
price,
fancy
it's
meals.
probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, considering it was $7,000 for more than a hotel, though, the Halcyon's more
Yes.
than a hotel.
An experience.
It's an experience, exactly right.
Yeah.
And I die inside that we didn't do it, but here we are.
Yeah.
Who are
we
you
now
going
have
to land
our-
on, Mike? Who's your chef going to be?
So I actually, the one other person that you guys haven't mentioned that I thought
Okay.
about actually, and I'm not sure if she would be up for the challenge because she never cooked for a large volume of people, but she was well connected in her community. Baru White Sun.
Okay.
She's like the first person we see making a meal. Like,
She
we-
is. She's
we
the very
see that.
first person.
And so that's someone that I did think about as being involved with some food and having us see blue milk for the first time. And so that was one that I did think about as maybe being up for the challenge.
That really
Well,
feels...
she also in the certain point of view book, she said she wanted to be her dream was to be a cheesemonger. So of Bantha milk cheese. So at the very least, you'd have a good cheese board.
She very much feels
that's
like
important.
a community potluck type of organizer. I could see that, and I feel like that fits your vibe really well, Mike.
It does.
Just
Like we just did we ordered from a restaurant that does catering and they delivered and then we like set it out and did it that like buffet style. You know, we didn't do like a big sit down dinner or anything like that. So like it does kind of fit my vibe, I think.
Maybe you could do a
I love
Tatooine
this.
potluck with like
A
Shmi
Tatooine-
and
Yeah.
Jira.
Oh, that'd be
Jira.
fun.
All right, real quick.
Yeah.
Why don't we run through just recap who all of our weddings look like? Mike, do you want to start?
So my wedding is going to be taking place at Cloud City with Grand Admiral Thrawn planning all of the events, Qui-Gon Jinn as the officiant, Crosshair getting all of the pictures, and then in the background is going to be Star Waver rocking up a storm.
I love it.
And then for me, my location was the Naboo Lake Country. My officiant was Mon Mothma. My clanner was C-3PO. My photographer was Sabine. And then my music was Gaia.
All right. For me, my location was the Temple of Kyber on Jeddah. My officiant was Chirrut Imwe. My wedding planner was Padme Amidala. My music was being brought to us by Sabe and the Theed Conservatory. My photographer was BD1.
Awesome.
And then if we're counting food, Grease Dritus.
Yeah. Let us know, like, if you guys had other ideas and who you would choose for those roles. If you have a caterer that we left off, or a photographer, or someone that you think would be like the top tier. This was a lot of fun to kind of like go
This
through
was
and
fun.
think about these things in different ways. And so if you like this format, like, we're definitely, I think, going to do it again. And if you have an idea for a type of Star Wars event or Star Wars thing that it would be interesting to see drafted, let us know. You can always reach out to us at rogue3media@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Instagram, Blue Sky, mostly all of the social media places that you can find people, except for Twitter, because we don't do that. But let us know what you would draft and how you would set up your own Star Wars wedding.
Let us know which wedding you want to attend. Who you think you'll
Yes,
have the
yeah.
best time?
Which one was
Which wedding is the best wedding? Very different vibes. They're very different vibes.
Yes.
Well, what do we have coming up here, guys? What's coming up in the next couple episodes?
We are hitting a run of books, but before we dive into going to be the Last Order and Master of Evil coming up soon. Master of Evil will, or rather, Last Order will be out by the time that people are listening to this episode. We are going to talk about the Charles Soule run of Darth Vader comics, the 2017 run, and specifically the first 6 issues that are going to see Vader fight a Jedi, bleed a Kyber crystal in the lead up to Master of Evil, which the excerpt from Adams Christopher talked about him bleeding that crystal and what went into it. So those are going to overlap quite a bit. We wanted to touch on some comics. We haven't really talked that much about comics yet here before. And so we're going to talk about in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about that run of comics, just the first 6 issues. So if you haven't read those before, give them a read. They usually only take about 10, 15 minutes. You can find a trade paperbacks in some places here and there. And so then we'll be talking about some books and other stuff moving forward.
All right. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks ahead.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone. And this is going to be Rogue 3 signing off.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us to talk about the galaxy far, far away. You can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and TikTok as Rogue 3 Media. We look forward to talking with you at the next rendezvous point.